Something I'm on fire about right now is just a greater awakening of hunger for Jesus, for the power and presence of the Holy Spirit. Recently, I was reading in Luke 18 where Jesus, there's a set of stories that happens. Jesus talks about the widow who wakes up the judge, pleads her case with the widow, and Jesus says, come on, be like her. Then he tells a story of a self-satisfied, kind of self-righteous Pharisee in prayer, contrasted with this desperate sinner who says, have mercy on me, Lord. And then there's this story about the children who try to come to Jesus and the disciples try to keep them away. And then the very end is a story of the blind beggar who's crying out for mercy. And it's interesting to me, like each of those stories, the person that we're not meant to be like is the person that's satisfied, and the person that's comfortable, and the person that's sort of self-content, self-congratulatory. And the pictures that we have of faith and faithfulness are a widow, a child, a beggar, a sinner. And that says to me, it's very easy when you're in leadership. It's very easy when things are going good to kind of cruise and to pat yourself on the back instead of living with this with a deep sense of hunger. And that's what I'm trying to live with, is to say, Lord, I need you. I depend on you. I'm counting on you every day, and I want to know you. And I think, as church leaders, I took over at a church that had gone through a really rough time. And I think those opening months and weeks, there was such a rawness and a sense of like, come on, God, we need you. Without you, we're not going to make it. And maybe, a lot of you might have felt that way. A lot of church leaders might have felt that way right out of the pandemic. Oh, God, what do we do to rebuild, replant this church? But then, I get nervous when things go back to quote unquote normal and we start to get a little comfortable and we go, we're fine. We'll just plug and play. And I'm not saying we need to create any false sense or, fake crises or anything like that. It's more a posture of our hearts. And for us as leaders, I think it's important that we lead the way, and I think of, the posture of sort of leaders on their knees saying, God, you're carrying this church, you're carrying this ministry. And if you don't build the house, we're just laboring in vain.